Okay, we're on live on YouTube right now.
I'd be pretty good idea of that.
Huh?
That'd probably be a pretty good deal. Text Terry and ask him what kind of beer they're gonna have. Drive the township truck.
No way to pay them.
Brian, have you ever used a guy, he's a Louisville resident, his name's Jamie Savrin. He owns a Modern Locksmith.
No, but I use Chapnor all the time, and he's over in Louisville on the
Okay.
north side.
So
But Chappie, they called him.
if you already have somebody in your system, let's
Yeah,
use that.
Chapnor's in my system.
All right,
But
so
there is another locksmith. I don't know.
that's okay. Let's use it in your system. So the back,
Is that clear down below?
the back door of the fire department,
Somewhere.
the door that they go in and out of by the living quarters, that door, they said it's really stiff. It's breaking key, like they're breaking keys off.
Holmesville.
So they were asking if they could get a locksmith out there to check it out, to not change the key, because that's the same key that he has.
Okay.
Rick took it apart and he said, I didn't have great success getting it to do anything different. So he put it back together, put it back on. So that's on the list. So I won't text my buddy Jamie until we
Yeah, I
check your guy first. Let's check your guy first.
I better keep this with me, I guess. Nah, I get confused. I got too many mouse around. I got the wrong one. Okay, we're live right now. Everything's on. Don't ask me to read nothing. I ain't got my glasses. Everything's on.
Forgot my darn
glasses. Let me see something. I don't know how I walked out without them. Time to go buy a couple spares. I keep breaking them. I'm hard on them.
So is Denny.
Hmm?
So is Denny. I buy him lots
I
of
just buy the cheap ones. I mean, but
the magnifiers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like $12 or whatever for them.
I buy really cheap ones.
Oh. Whenever you're ready. Yeah. You mean these won't like a magnifying?
Yeah.
53 minutes.
In there.
It's 53 minutes.
Really from here? I ain't going there. Don't clear on 53 minutes. So
Maybe it's good.
I got too many things to do.
I got more.
I got too many things.
I'm more important than that.
Yep.
Ready?
This
Yeah.
busy.
You have the audio on?
Everything is on.
All right. Let's call to order and stand for the pledge and short devotion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord, we ask that you be with us, guide our decisions to best benefit the township, be with all our employees and workers and fire department and everybody, and keep them safe, and keep everybody safe in the township. Amen. Anybody got anything to add to the agenda?
Under new business, just want to talk about a bunch of recent robberies.
I got two little things under road report that came in tonight, but nothing big. Just making. You got anything, Brian?
I'll have it. I think I got it under new business. So yeah, it's under there already.
All right. Well,
Nothing for me. I'll say it during fire.
all right. We'll move to the trustee meeting minutes for Monday, 7/26/2021.
I'll motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we'll move to the treasurer's report from 8/9/2021.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the treasurer's report as accepted, or as presented, I'm sorry.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye. Opposed?
You wanted to see Leonard Skinner, and since they didn't show up, you decided to stay home, huh?
Well,
The
they,
Leonard, the Skinner.
he gave me the excuse, but they had, changed it because all the construction,
Mm-hmm.
you have to park at the fairgrounds and ride a bus. So we wanted to do that.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
can't.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I did not know those things, so we're good to go.
All right. Nobody for public speaks. Go to fire.
All right, Chief Shear is working an extra shift tonight, and Miss Parker's on vacation, so there's not going to be anyone here tonight from fire. Two things happened in the fire department world. There was a spring on the bay door that broke. They had the guys come out. I think they temporarily fixed it because they were waiting on a part. So I don't think a bill has landed yet. So it should be coming.
We
To get
did,
that.
we did,
Did you get a bill?
125.
Do you want to go to get that done?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just came in,
125 even?
yes.
Okay. Trustee Varian moves to pay, who we paying? Action.
Magic door.
Trustee Varian moves to pay Magic Door $125 to repair a spring, 255 bay door.
Trustee Gregor seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Second issue at the fire station right now is the back door on the living quarter side. The door is malfunctioning. It's very stiff and they're bending keys. I think one key might have broke. So we're gonna see if I get a locksmith out there. I just heard about that today when I talked to Rick. So we're gonna move on getting somebody out there for that. We're hoping to keep the same key because all the folks have it. So if we can keep the same key, that'd be great. And then the other thing that's not on here that I wanted to add, I said something to the chief today about when firefighter Whitsett moves on at the end of the month, who we're going to put in that position. And he said that he wanted to wait until Amy and he and Amy wanted to sit down with the trustees and talk about, future moving forward as far as the chief position and that position. So we're in a holding pattern there. So when Whitsett is done with his last pay period, we just will not have anyone in his position until we have a conversation about that. And I don't know when they want to do that. So I'll set that up and get back to y'all. And then the calls to mutual aid. Sorry.
Good.
And then the reports on the back.
Are they just down calls or they just don't have people there? Or what's
I don't know, the calls look low, don't they?
I just wondered if that's the reason why they can't. Do you know?
Well,
I don't know.
I would say that it's down because if you look at the mutual aid, 1 from and 3 from.
Yeah.
So then they had 1 from quad.
It's, 23 with the fire.
Yeah.
24.
So the mutual aid isn't high. If the mutual aid was super high, I'd say that we were missing shifts and not getting out there, but looks like the call volume might just be low.
Yeah.
I can ask.
Good for the people, I guess. They're not needing-
That's right.
All right. That's, well, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
We'll move on to the cemetery.
Ryan isn't here tonight. I know Stu was down on this project, and what I have on the computer screen, I know if anybody's watching YouTube, I wasn't able to get it up there, but we have what the area looked like after it was dozed, and then what did they use on that, Stu? What was the name?
Column.
Column mulcher, yeah. And I went down there, that one shot, Trustee Varian, if
Yeah.
you can pull up from the roadside, like one of them, that really tells, that's right where your steps were, and that's like if you walked right up the hill
Looks
to the
good.
church, and you can see what it looks like.
It's not seed.
So they planted it?
No,
No,
That's just raw.
no. We
There's
just
another, that's the
took
other
the
angle.
mulcher over it, kept picking up stuff that the spring two's brought up,
Right.
that's down
cleaning
below,
up more.
looking up the hill.
That looks way better.
Oh, yeah, it
Golly.
looks really good.
Oh, you grow grass on that, put a nice sign in there.
So where are we gonna put the sign?
Well, that can be up to you all's decision, but the sign used to say, Stu can verify, right where you're at, Trustee Varian, off to the left.
To the left?
Yeah, to the left of that picture where the edge of the grass is a hose, but a little bit closer to the road where the old sign said.
Okay.
If you take
So if
that
I go
other-
back to this picture, I
Yeah,
get
it's
what
It's
you're
on
on
the
the left
shot.
side.
Take that shot. It was right in
Yeah.
there, right
Yep.
where you got the arrow.
Okay.
Now, whether you want to put it there or you want to move it
Now you've
over,
got all this frontage.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can move it down the street and then that big tree won't block it. But then you gotta weed it, I mean, then you gotta weed it around it, you know?
Well, if that tree would ever go, we're gonna take it out.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
We just don't want it to get, run over.
Or vandalized.
That's
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean.
true.
You keep it back a little
Here's
bit.
another, that's another nice shot too, because that's down where the road started, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
down below.
Yeah,
like
that's
you were
right by the
getting-
parking lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Off to the right would have been where the two pines, I think the left, there's probably one of them isn't showing.
There's
Yeah.
2 pines that we popped the trunk out with that big, huge
Yeah.
So the part that's
cherry
at
stump was, we gotta use something bigger.
the part at the bottom of the screen, are we gonna put gravel on that, make that parking lot?
It's
It already
It's already gravel.
It
parking
already
lot.
is.
There's a lot of parking.
It
And
just
there's
looked like it had dirt on it.
there's
Well,
a lot of,
that's above
Well,
the
it's-
parking.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
above it. That used to be kind of your slope up that was all grass.
you can't pull in on
Yeah,
that
so
area.
Yeah.
But there's,
When we
there's
came
a
around
big
and
area
pulled the
across
dirt this
road,
way,
too,
right
that
there.
part.
The parking lot actually is about right in here at the end. of where-
That's
What
your
if-
sidewalk where he was
Yeah.
pointing. The
Yeah, see
sidewalk.
right here, we ripped the sidewalk.
Right.
Well, if you
around to
didn't,
the
if you
back.
didn't put your sign out by the road for someone to hit it, use your pen there for me. I can use the cursor, point down here, down. What if you put it and face where the people park and face it
And,
to the
and put it
road?
behind the barriers.
Right. So
You
people wouldn't
could-
hit it. And then
you
when you
could
pulled
do-
in to visit the cemetery, you'd park in front of it.
How,
That's
Maybe.
true.
It'd still be,
that stump,
We're gonna have to use something bigger here. Andy would come
I
back
don't know
down
if
the
I took
track
a
over
picture
or
of
start
that.
the stump grind.
Yeah,
Where's
see
the
if
stuff
you
you're
can
talking
zoom-
about right
see
here?
If you can zoom in front of
I
my
don't-
truck
I
there.
don't think you can see the stump.
Zoom in on it, you'll see it. I'm pretty sure you can see
I
it.
don't know.
There was 2 pine trees and a big stump that was at the end of
Oh,
the,
sorry,
Yeah.
I went the
Yeah.
wrong picture. Hang on.
here's the first one.
Yeah, no, swing it down, bring it over.
See that
It's,
one?
you can just see the top of it off the front of the truck there,
Right here?
right in there.
Right there, well,
That's where the
roughly,
pine is. It's down, it's in front of my
one's there,
truck.
one's down here, and then the huge ones. Yeah,
Okay.
You might be able to get it on that hill
you
shot.
couldn't even budget with the big bulldozer. It's really.
Go up up where you're looking down at the
How
truck.
big, I can't remember how wide it is sticking out. You know,
It's
how big of a sign are we thinking?
Oh, right there. It's the
You
same
sent us-
sign as
sent us
all the
that.
other one.
48 by 48.
Yeah, it looked like Mapleton Cemetery, looked like Indian Run Cemetery, or they're all the same size. Person.
Well, I just kind of wondered, I don't know, maybe if you could go over top of that stump and then nobody's gonna run it over.
That's huge. I mean, the sign don't need to be that big and wide.
It's 40, it's 4.
I know, but that stump,
Fiscal officer, did we come in under budget? Can we afford a $543
Yeah,
sign?
It was at
Parker came in at $1,200. We had appropriated up to $2,400.
Great, great.
So, you
That's,
know,
that's good news.
and then you had taken 250 for,
See it.
the seeding and all of it. So that hasn't been done yet, but, you know, just in case there was anything else there, whether straw or some other supplies needed, but that was where we were at with that.
Well,
he has come in lower than what he even
I'm jumping around a
originally
bit,
said.
but when I talked
He
to,
said something like
when I talked to the
15.
pastor about
I think
Coons
you said
today.
12.
Did he say 12?
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. Go.
No, you're fine. I was jumping around a bit. When I talked to the pastor about Coons Memorial Cemetery in East Canton, they were talking about, some of the congregation doesn't want to give it up. And I'm like, well, just put a nice sign, give us a name. And I told him about Wildwood Cemetery. I was getting a new sign and it'll be very tasteful. And I said, if you ask the township trustees to keep the name, they're not going to balk against you. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, but that was something else we talked about in the cemetery world. I think that sign looks great.
That sign there was made by Midwest, and back when it was made the first time, it was $430. I remember on the top there was just say 500,
Does that come with posts?
543.
and that's your post, your hardware. That's
They'll give you,
what?
they'll give you sleeves.
2 treated posts, sleeves, caps, 6 brackets.
So
Yeah.
we're good to go for buying this.
Yeah, you're good.
I move, trustee Bureau moves to purchase a sign for $543 with all the stuff to hang it and fix it.
Trustee Barry in second.
All those in favor, aye. Aye.
Great.
And then,
So that looks good. That's good. That's a good project right there. That's great. Have that done. Talk about easy keeping now. Just mow it. Right. Easy to keep.
where do we want to go up on the bank there? Somewhat, something like right up in there.
I think even by the stump, well, could you go in front of the stump a little ways?
down there below his truck.
I think you ought to put it where the church is at, right up on front up there, because nobody's gonna.
Right on the crest of the hill?
Yeah,
You could.
because then you're never gonna put nothing right there for burial,
Right.
but you're up a hill, somebody.
No one's gonna hit it.
Nobody's gonna mess with it.
I don't think they'd mess with it, but it's
You
visible.
put it down there by that stump, I think you're having more people want to come over there and mess with it. Like they
And
mess
even
with
that
the stop
intersection is
sign.
so-
Well,
that
they come out
intersection
of the
is-
intersection and paint it and do everything.
The intersection is so big too, you'll be able to see
And
it.
then they always mess with that stop sign, that street sign there. They steal ours. They just stole the Brown Townships.
Well, this is a wooden sign?
No, no.
No.
Or
Or steel?
No.
It's like aluminum.
Okay.
It's made
It's
out
not
of,
something they're gonna
when
steal.
Mapleton Sign and Indian Run
That's
was
pretty
made,
big
they
sign
used a
now.
pressed board on it years ago.
Yeah.
And back, we had
Looks good.
Mapleton sign redone, and they used this melamine, it's a plastic, hardened plastic with a coating on it.
Mm.
And they replaced that, and that was like $140 back like 4 or 5 years ago or back. When that got replaced, that's what I asked that owner when I called him. He said, no, we'll be pricing you with the correct stuff because we learned our mistake on making
Okay.
it that way.
The only thing I have concern about putting it way at the crest is that, and it's hard to tell from the picture, because some of that print's smaller on there. Are the
No.
people gonna see the
You
bulls?
would see that really
It's
good.
not,
You can
it's
see
not
it.
as far as you think.
Okay, that's what I'm.
You're only
No,
talking
yeah.
from the
It's
edge
like-
of the
It does
road,
look big.
edge of the
Yeah,
road
like
to the
looking at
We're
top.
not going clear. to
Be
the
like
top.
looking at that exit.
You're talking 25,
It's not
30
that
feet
far.
off the road, up the hillside.
It'll be about the same as the one at Mapleton,
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
back off the road.
cool.
They'll see it good.
Great, that's great.
And I might suggest have it slightly angled, not just square, because if you were coming up, it would be tapered more from the intersections up, you'd see it. And even if you was coming down the hill, you're gonna see it right there real close to you as you go past it. But I don't know if you wanna put it straight or just a slight angle to it. Cause the cemetery gets deeper as it wraps around that, wraps away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it any way you want, but
I
I
think it's
just,
probably the best to face the road.
Well, and
Yeah.
give whoever's mounting it out
I
there.
mean, kind of go to
General.
the angle of your road and.
well, that's what I was gonna say, the angle of the road, like where Wildwood Church's sign was, it was tapered back
Yeah.
one side. Our old Mapleton sign was at a taper too. But it was not, I'm not talking like it was sideways, I mean, it
Right,
just had a slight
Yeah, I
taper.
remember how it was. It was.
But it had the old wooden posts, these are wooden posts with like a
With
vinyl.
vinyl sleeve and a cap,
on
yeah.
top of
We
it.
should not do any of this.
You know, so that he doesn't have to trim around it, we could put it like in a little bit of a bed around it of some sort, whether it's stones or whatever, so he doesn't have to trim by the post.
You could do that, you could rock, get some number 4s or something big.
Put like
rock.
we
an
can-
oval, put an oval around it.
Yeah, so that
And we
he's,
can give, I don't know who's gonna be putting it in, if Ryan's gonna put it in, but we can give him some ideas, and then when he stands out there, he's gonna make the best choice. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to do it from here,
Yeah.
give him a couple ideas and say, hey,
Why
make it
don't
look
you-
good.
We'll just look at it and see where we think
Use
it
the
looks
stuff we got
best.
up here, this limestone.
Yeah.
That, we've got some 57 gravel too, worse gravel.
we just wanna make it easy for.
Limestone will be white though, and
That smaller stuff's a little better if they're mowing it, they catch the piece, it's not so
Doesn't
launching it.
take out your, take
be
anybody out.
sharpened.
I'm not worried about his blades, I'm worried about somebody driving down the road. They don't know they're there, but it's very odd, but you never know. All right, well, we'll get it figured out. Anything else on cemetery?
No.
Road report.
Get your glasses on.
Good evening, everyone. If you've looked over the road report, is there any questions you'd like to ask this evening? Okay, good.
Okay, good.
We're still working on Sendell, just so you guys know. We started last Friday and we're still working on it today. We were berming
It looks good. Ditch.
berming everything so the water will run off that road and into the ditches. We cleaned all the ditches out. We're just trying to finish up the last little bit that we need to do down and then we'll broom everything off with the
Have you
big broom.
ran into any of them other neighbors down there?
Seeing the neighbors up and down the road, nobody's said
I
anything.
just wondered if they asked you what was going on.
Nope, nobody's really asked me.
That thing is
Nobody's complained. I mean,
Nobody has.
I think they see what's going on there and we're truly trying to fix things up and,
Oh, it's terrible, Rob.
oh yeah.
It's terrible. But it looks good. They've been ditching it.
Right.
It looks nice. Ditches look good. Like Bourbon looks good. There was a lot of grass built up.
Yeah. I mean, had good feedback from Henry, the old guy there on the corner, and Tom Levy. Him and his wife's been letting us park some equipment there, back there, long driveway there, so it's not out by the road.
Perfect.
So we don't have to truck everything back and forth all
That's
the time,
nice. Yeah.
like the
That's
Huber
nice.
and stuff, which doesn't go down the road very fast. But yeah, things are coming along real good on that.
Glad to see you're using No Valley still. It's good. Drop spindle off at No Valley's.
Is the other mower working or are they both?
Oh yeah, no, Ray's been out mowing. No, it's fine.
I think they were both up by me today.
Hmm.
I think they were both up by me. I seen one of them.
One, just one.
I thought I saw.
The other one is not together yet.
I didn't see him, but
Yeah, we just got the bearings Friday. When we got that, we ran it down real quick to Mike and let him press that one off and press it back on for us. 'cause we
Glad to
don't
hear you
want
still
to
got
press.
that working.
So we'll probably get that back together tomorrow.
All right, so we need an approval for 515
Yes.
plus shift.
That was for the bearing kit, the
We don't know
seals and
what
everything
shipping
for
is.
that.
we don't know what to shoot.
We don't know what the shipping was. I was talking to Mr. Lowry and he thought possibly we just go like
Up to?
550,
50.
Brian, or.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be over that. It's
I
in a
would
box
think-
about.
It wasn't a
big,
very big box.
But it has some weight, but I don't want to
Yeah.
think it'd be over.
Where'd it come
20,
from?
25.
From Dexter's,
From Dexter's.
out towards Bucyrus there, the ones that set up the boom mower and everything.
Trustee Pugh moves to pay 515, or up to 550 on the bearing kit to Dexter's for shipping to.
Trustee Barry in second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
I got contacted by somebody at the school and they got some trees up there that need trimmed or something. They said, we've trimmed them in the past. I said, I'll bring it to the meeting, but I'm not guaranteeing nothing. So I don't know.
Is this going back those paths where the track team is? Because
I think it's,
we haven't been there for a couple of years and it's probably getting growed in.
I don't
every
think
time
that's
we-
the only place. I think.
What did
it's
you use
some-
your boom mower up in
Yeah,
the
but
air?
it's so tight going in there.
Oh, wow.
Well, I told
That
him,
seems like that'd be dangerous.
I said, we're super busy now. It's not gonna happen now, but I said, I'll take you to the meeting. And
It's all the troubles we've been having, just
Yeah.
trying to keep up with our own law
so,
this year.
Yeah.
is there any tree services in East Canton that we could recommend them to? I don't know. Is there anybody that does it?
Well, you know,
Yeah, good work.
there's a few of them. There's, I mean, out of Louisville, there's Josh's tree out of Louisville. There's,
I mean, they
there's Bowman out of Canton South.
Well, I've even mentioned to Larry Bonham, over the last several years, that, some of those paths, I mean, these trees keep growing.
Right.
And some of them, I mean, I have to be able to go in there and have the boom with the mower flipped up around sideways like this. You can only
Yeah,
get
so
sucked
wide.
back so tight.
Yep.
And it's wide going in there and we're almost ripping mirrors
So maybe
off
it's time for them to
tractors.
take a few trees down.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, either that or get somebody with a pole saw.
Well,
that can
there's
cut
a-
heck
That's
Who was
the thing right there. That some of these trees need taken down back so we can just
Right.
mow the brush back.
Yeah.
It's
Brogan is the last guy I use. He's out of Louisville. He's another tree guy.
Well, they
I
should,
just wonder.
yeah, they shouldn't have waited so many years. If they did it every year, it'd be different because you would keep it. But they waited, haven't had us do it for so many years. They're gonna be pretty hefty sized limbs.
if they could go in and cut some of these trees that are really close to the path down, at least down right to the ground. Then we could go in there a little easier and just mow the brush back, not be going like this, but just set it down and have it the width of the mower
The edges, yeah.
on both sides, going in and coming back out. So there's no briars catching
And
the
get away with
runners
just
or,
saying that we're,
for the track
because of breakdowns this year, we just won't have the extra time.
I know that, other places they want, it's just out there along their yards, around the practice football field and the baseball, we went along there knocking that stuff back.
I'll call Mr. Brenfro and I'll talk to him about it, and explain to him what needs to happen. Maybe I can go up to him and explain to him what if they get this back, that we can help them with keeping the brush back, but it's kind of,
Yeah, we're not
Beyond
set
our
up to
equipment.
cut trees.
it's beyond our
No,
equipment.
I was gonna say, it's beyond our equipment, yeah.
Yeah.
You're putting that mower up in the
Well,
sky.
and I've done it many years before, I started letting other guys go up there, and it doesn't get better because these streets keep getting bigger. You grow them out bigger and they're
Yeah.
getting really close to the path to where it's choking in on you. And you can only, the tractor isn't any
Yeah.
narrower every year,
Sure. Right.
but the paths are from the size of the trees.
Right.
They went in there sometimes and cut down certain limbs and stuff, but
All right.
the whole darn trees need cut down some places. Too tight.
And then I got,
I just don't want to see us rip a sidewall out on a tire,
Oh, sure.
well, it's
rip-
beyond, it doesn't matter, it's beyond.
start ripping something off the side of the tractor, the lights and stuff that we have on there.
Do you know where Mary Creighton lives off 172? You know where
Yes.
Harvey Creighton?
Yes, the old
place is?
farm, yes.
She doesn't live in that house, she lives down over the back.
Yeah,
Well,
I
she
know, they
called
built a
me
new
and
house.
said that she's having issues with her driveway washing out. It's on a state route.
Right.
That's a state,
Yes, that's a state route.
so I haven't been, she called me at 5:30. I need to direct her where to call. What if okay, so on a state route.
She just needs to call the state, and
Okay.
that's a certain number, and you call in there, you tell them what
Do you have that number I can give
yes,
to her?
I'll give it to you here
Okay.
at the end of the meeting.
But for future, so if a resident lives on a state route and their culvert's bad, is that the state replaces
The
it?
state and the county do not replace people's culverts. They have to call somebody and have it privately done. Our township does it, like we do to
We
help
do it
out.
as a service
Now,
charge.
if you're in our township and you live on a state or county road,
We
some
can't do
people have called about that, and I said, I'm sorry. I said, we can only do it on our county roads. our township.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We cannot do it.
But I
The
asked
state will not do it. The county will not do it.
Okay.
I just wonder, I said, well, maybe you have culvert issues going on too, and she didn't know, and so, her culvert might be plugged, and that's
Oh,
why.
the house that's down from the road, up there going over that knob. I know where the old farm was, the old farmhouse, and then they built their newer one back.
Right, it's just up east of
Up,
Nine.
yeah.
But the problem is right at the road, so,
Yeah.
all right, well, you just give me the
I'll give you
number,
that
I'll
number.
get it to
Yep.
her, and she can call into the state.
We all got an email from Mrs. Pirro on a resident asking to call back. It was Mr. Tim Collins. I called him back. I spoke to him. I've talked to Stu about his request. He'd like to see a no outlet sign moved. Stu has been down this road before and he's checked some of the setbacks. Right now, the sign is in fact in its proper location. So, and that's pretty much what I explained to Mr. Collins. But I didn't need to make you aware. So I did talk to him. He's saying when people pull onto the no outlet, by the time they've pulled onto the road, they've missed the sign and now people are going down and turning around. And so,
The only other thing I could say about that situation there, I think we have, when we turn onto that road, I think there's a speed limit sign right there, possibly. I don't know if we're allowed to take and put a no exit sign above the speed limit
okay.
or below it. I don't know what the rules are on that.
Sometimes don't they put up a dead end?
Does it
It
say
says
No
no
outlet.
exit, it says no outlet or no exit.
It does say no outlet.
Yes, that's what it is, and he wants it closer to the road because he thinks people can't see it before they make the turn. He had some situations there back when
Okay.
Broadway had a culvert put in down there, closer towards Smith on
People
Lot.
tried to-
And
people tried to
semis
go
turned in there
around.
and started coming up and they had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I can't help that.
Yeah.
and it was a mistake, and,
Okay.
and people still turn up that road every now and again. I'm sure there's a
Trying to
big
find
truck.
a way
or this-
around, sure.
Right.
But it is technically a road there, so they do have. a right
Yeah,
to
it
turn
works,
on
and
the
it's a
road.
dead end road. It goes back right into a field.
Yeah.
We just have a pad made back here big enough for us to turn our
Your truck. around.
dump trucks around.
Semi would
And-
get you around.
and
They have
we
to back out.
normally, we do the plowing with the 550 on that road because it's such a small area
Tight
back
road.
here
Yeah.
to turn around.
Well, we were able to get back to him in a timely manner, so,
Um,
all right, we'll look into it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Stu?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
All right, we'll move on to zoning.
First, the zoning inspector's on vacation, so she'll be presenting at the next meeting. The commission held their hearings and they will be sending their recommendations for both hearings to us at our next meeting. We will then, after that, Brian will have to advertise. So before we can discuss them, we have to advertise the final hearing for those. So we can probably just accept them from her that night and then advertise our hearing for the next meeting. Does that give us enough time, Brian, to do it that way or not?
You're already advertising
You're advertising it?
on August 23rd meeting to have those two hearings.
Okay, and then we'll do it on the 23rd. Well, there's already 2 other hearings that night.
There's one other hearing that night. There's a nuisance hearing and then those two.
I thought we had 2 nuisance hearings.
No, one nuisance and then the 2 hearings you have that night.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So she'll do that then. I didn't call the Collins back that you did, but he had a lady call that Sue had sent that she was saying the township was saying that her lot she owns over in Valhalla Terrace area is non-buildable, so the person who was looking to purchase it was backing out. And she wanted to know why we were saying it's non-buildable.
Oh, this is the contentious lot. This is the lot that's for
This
sale.
is not the lot out front.
Oh, it's not the lot up
No,
front.
it's a different lot.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought. I thought it was the front. It's
Got
not.
it.
It's
It's
not.
back in there
Yes.
somewhere. Okay.
And so after some research, we did not say the lot was non-buildable. It meets our setbacks. We have nothing to do with it. So I directed her to the county health department because maybe it's not buildable because of a septic reason or some other reason at the county level, but it is not at our level.
Okay.
So we did that. Other than that, lots of requests for pools still and for additions, and
Okay.
Mary's been getting lots of requests there. So other than that, we should be good.
Trustee Griffith, Mary yesterday gave me the meeting that's normally would be the third zoning commission meeting would be August 16th, would be changed back to the normal time in September. And she asked me to put that on the website.
Yeah, they decided since they had hearings here in August already, they didn't want to meet
Yeah.
in August. So they're not going to meet again until their normal September meeting. The last thing I want to say is that then they're looking at trying to go back and start with the layered zoning and
The overlay.
the overlay.
Okay.
We had given approval to work with the consultant. His name was Aaron Sorrell. And
Yes.
he's the consultant that met with regional planning before. So I haven't contacted him yet, but I'd like to contact him again and start that conversation. The commission's supposed to do the bulk of the putting together, and then this consultant who's completed the layer zoning around the state and other areas was gonna come in and give them some direction then on what he thought of what they had. So if we're good, I'm gonna ask him to come back now and give us a price again, so we'll start all over to see how much that would be to have his input. And that's all I have on zoning.
All right. Old Township business, opioid settlement discussion.
I don't know if you trustees, I'm assuming you get that from both the Ohio Township Association and from the Stark County, our Stark County Township Association. back a couple of years ago when this pandemic opioid were all these overdoses were going on, they asked, not so much everyone was asked if they wanted to be part of a joint lawsuit. And back then, we got the prosecutor involved, Stark County prosecutor, which they're involved with it too, because they represent the county at the county level. Well, your Ohio Township now association, along with Stark County, has asked that we be a part of it, whether you do or not. I just like you all to read into it. Maybe you have your input already, but it just is asking, let me see here if it gives the date.
I thought it was pretty soon, Brian. I did read it.
Yeah, it is. This was on a July 23rd readout, but it just says you have 30 days. Let me see here. States states have 30 days to sign a deal. So this was dated on July 23rd.
So I think basically we have to decide if we want to sign on to the agreement,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And if we get a settlement, are certain things we can use it for,
Mhm.
which has to deal with opioids in some manner, was my understanding. Is that what you're reading?
I didn't read in depth of that, what the uses were. I just know that the decision to be a part of it or not, when the Stark County Township Association was pushing for us to be on it, like we have a good turnout of all the county townships in the county. I just thought it would be something you all would look into, because I don't know the pros and cons of this, other than back when it was old, when the prosecutor, they were going to do it as, okay, here's Stark County, we're doing it for Stark County. Now this sounds like you have to sign into it to be part of a group, or are we still individualized, but we're still part of that group? I don't know how it's working.
I think you have to commit to be part of the settlement. So the settlement, it already went to court. They came back with the settlement. And now they're going back to those, do you want to be part of receiving? How I read it was part of the settlement to use it for. I would say that we can use it to provide some information through, maybe to the school system on drug abuse, and to the local churches, so that we can fund supplies to entities in our community to help provide information. It's just one way we could help. I don't think it really means we have to, and I don't think our portion of the settlement will be real big either.
No, that's when they did it before, the prosecutor said you might be talking just a few hundred or a few $1,000s until it's all said and done.
Right.
Because
We can,
26 billion nationwide. You start spreading that around. It
right.
sounds like a lot.
No,
I don't know.
It goes quick.
We can always partner with our local Rotary, and they can do a program. So I suggest that, or I would make a motion that we sign on to it. And if we receive some funding, we can put it to good use.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, approval to retain legal counsel regarding American Rescue Funds.
Hey, trustees, this is what I've been working on here and spending a lot of time on. This American Rescue money that we get is non-entitlement. It's not like the city, it's not like the county. This is what we get. We aren't going to receive this until 2022, but I have a deadline of being signed up by September 4th. What I am very confused about, but I also see there's going to be a ton of work involved with it. It isn't like the CARES Act.
Yeah.
Nothing like the CARES Act. This, it's supposed to be used over the next, it can be used actually, if you appropriate money, it can be used up until 2028. That's what I learned at these seminars. But you have to have the money locked in by 2024. So it's something that could be a long-range project. Now, my question that I keep asking, and they haven't responded other than they said, yeah, you could do that. Can you have multiple projects is my question. Because when you read through in these seminars, the attorney group that was doing this seminar for the state of Ohio is based out of North Canton. And they're right here in our backyard, and they're specializing on giving advice. And you can use the part of that money to retain them. Not that they push for this, I'm suggesting it because they're the expertise
Yeah.
about doing this. You know, I thought about, we've used a solicitor, we've used the prosecutor, and sometimes those opinions and those things take a little while. These guys, this is what they do.
Right.
They help with, they're grant writers. They'll help with this grant.
Fiscal officer, if we approve that to go towards some legal counsel, would you need that before September 4th?
I would definitely like to at least talk to them
Okay.
to see their prices, so I can come back and see what their rates are, to see what they might suggest, because I thought maybe you trustees all had some ideas, because I know Trustee Barron, you asked me, I said, there's multiple things. That's why I'm looking at.
It's money worth working for.
Yes, we're going to be at $419,000, but we're going to get that in 2 increments, one in 22 and one in 23.
Okay.
So it's not like it's going to be all one big chunk. We got to spend it by next week or
Right.
something.
It's very different than CARES Act money.
Yes.
Right.
And then as they're talking about all this stuff about pandemic, then they turn around and say, well, you can use it for infrastructure. But get this, the infrastructure has to be something related to improving your water system. Now, when it says improving, you can't go in and just replace. It has to be proven that you have proof that it's improving to be more pure or better.
Than what it was before.
So, you know, my first thought was, okay, possibly the village. Well, then I started thinking, then they started talking about runoff water, like the farmers building things to catch water instead of it getting in creeks. But then I thought, how's that related to pandemic? But they were using some of that as they were wording it in a way that you could do that. Now it's getting a little complicated. The other thing is they talked about you can use this to help your local businesses. Bars, restaurants, grocery stores. Well, you think about that, that's all inside the village. Well, then my question was, what about granting money to the village? If those businesses, that was one thing. The other question is apartment complexes and apartments, rentals. A lot of people behind on a rent. Were they behind because they lost their jobs because of COVID-19? What's the future look like to help the landlords with this? How do you go about distributing money without having something you have to put in place to do that?
Right.
People were asking that question and I never got all those answers, but a lot of it is you have to have someone draw up paperwork, you have to submit it in, you have to notify the public so everybody has an opportunity in their township. So there's a lot more to this.
Fiscal officer, I feel like with that amount of money and the opportunity that it could bring to our township, I think seeking legal counsel for that is a smart thing to do. It keeps us safe and make sure that we're handling it right. And so I think that's, in my opinion, I'm only one of the 3, but in my opinion, that's
I think we
money
should
well
get a
spent.
pricing off of it, but I will say, I know that the village applied for theirs, and it isn't like you did the last time. When they went to have the fiscal officer go in and do it, the fiscal officer couldn't sign for it. The president of the council had to sign for it.
The way this is, when you go in and register, there'll be like, say me, then the person who did it on CARES Act was Sue. She just was the person that all the information went to her, which then came back to me.
Right.
But you have to have a resolution to do that. That's where your president and you all come into play.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's for September 4th is when I have to have that ready. So we only really have one more meeting.
So
Right.
do we need a
But it
motion
might
for you
be
to
more
seek?
complicated when you get into the actual application.
It is. That's another thing. Everything you read about the application states in there, you got to have all this stuff ready. What's the name of your project?
You know,
How do I know what you all want to do?
Right.
Or can we do a combination of projects?
And your counsel's going to be able to tell you that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's just a generic, some of the stuff you're reading about, like for the subsidy to rent, Stark County already has a plan in place that people who were affected by COVID can get funding to replace for their rent. And some of that's wording is because it's for cities, not really for townships. I think if we have to put a name and we just name it Improving Osnaburg Township, something like generic, and they're just wanting a placeholder name in place, you can define your project later.
That's what the goal of.
Do you think we could get some prices on legal counsel before the next meeting?
Yeah, I know.
Do I need a motion to do that or no?
I think that we should just give approval at this point because we're not the only one looking around and if.
There's on that,
I don't, because
last seminar.
next
there was
meeting is the 24th, isn't it?
23rd.
23rd. And
There
I'm
was
telling you,
17
it's gonna take him a few days to get the application done. He's not gonna be able to get it done the same
There
day.
were 1,700 people on there asking questions. So it's a hot
topic.
Hot topic,
Well, and these people are in our backyard,
yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
gonna really fill up.
Yeah, so I would say that,
So we want to make a motion to go ahead and get it in by September 4th, so we can remove it.
Well, I have to be online doing this before September 4th.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
but you want approval to retain these people.
Well, I'm not coming to the board with prices or anything. I just want to go talk to them, get it, and if it sounds good, then I'm going to come back with those prices for you.
You just want permission
Before
to
we
go
do-
talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want you to know I'm
but
talking.
the problem, if we don't give you approval tonight and they say, sure, I can work with you now, we have to do it like in the next week because they have all these other clients. They're not gonna wait till the end and do it with you.
I think I can pull this off because I already talked to them in a way that,
All right.
that when I say talk to them, I talked to them online when we were doing this meeting. And I can detect that,
What's the name of the company?
I can't remember it, and I apologize, I had it right here on my.
Would you like two
cell.
separate motions? One to seek, to find information about council, and the second to go ahead and agree to get this in by the 4th, or is?
I don't think you need that because.
I'm only gonna need for.
Yeah.
I just want to get this for you guys. I can make it all happen from the 23rd to the 4th.
Okay, what motion would you like?
Just a motion that you, Brian, go get the guys.
All right, trustee Varian moves for
I'll-
fiscal officer Lowry to
I'm not gonna go spend any money. I'm not gonna
to
spend,
retain legal counsel
yeah.
regarding the American Rescue Funds.
Trustee Bureau seconds. So all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
New business. Fiscal-
Under old business, can I ask something?
Yeah,
We've been waiting to hear on the Broadway property on the estate.
I don't have
property.
any information on that unless you do, because I have put that on the back burner right now because the people that I've been talking to that first contacted me are not responding. And when they quit responding, I thought it had to do with COVID, but nothing's happening. So unless one of you have done something.
No, well, if you want to send me their contact information, I'll reach out to them.
The thing that they're doing now is they want us to start spending money. And I stopped because I said, why we have to spend money when it's them wanting, all the stuff that, and I don't have this in front of me. So if
Right.
you wanted to talk about it, I would gladly get it. But the thing of it is all that stuff was talked about then. It was talked about actually over a year and a half ago. And then we talked about it about a year ago. And then it got on the back burner because they had to do a lot of stuff that they weren't doing.
Right.
And that because they weren't doing it, they kept saying, well, you need to find first. Remember, we had to go find a bank that would do the banking for it. And no one would come up. And then it was Huntington said they would do it. Huntington never came through. This is getting too complicated. Nobody would come back. And believe me, I hounded at that time. If you want to get it, I'll be more than glad to give that to you all.
Yeah, if you want to send it,
I'm not going to send it. I'm going to hand you the folder. It's this thick
folder.
and you can go through it because it's not that easy.
Yeah.
I know I spent a lot of time on my days off in here working on that to keep coming to a stalemate because we're going to have to pour a lot of money to at least do it. And I don't have a problem doing, but it kept looking like if we're going to get all this or control, we weren't going to own nothing.
Right.
We weren't going to own that land.
Nope.
And that was the problem.
Yes.
If we were going to own it, I would have fought harder for it, but we weren't going to own it and control it. Or we could control it to some extent as long as we honored
Through
their
the-
wishes.
Through the committee. Yep, absolutely.
But that's fine. I'll gladly give it to you.
okay.
all right. Okay, fiscal officer update on budget.
Yes, I need your help, trustees. I need to ask for a special meeting because I didn't get a few things, which were very important few things from the county auditor. He said he would have it here the first week of August, even though the budget I write has the cutoff point of July 31st. I need to know how I'm gonna write out the rest of the year based on what he's gonna give me. And that's stuff like what we owe the village, what we are going to get on our last shot of money for the property to confirm that, because that's very important to me to write a decent alternative budget, even though we all know that changes a little bit, gets tweaked at the end of the year. And I was going to suggest, and only if somebody, if all of you could do, is next Wednesday, whether it's any time on Wednesday or at 5 or at 7, whatever time, if anybody be available.
That's
I
the
want-
18th.
Yeah, I wanted to do, yes, and I wanted to do a special meeting just to come in. You can read it all over. It's gonna have a cover sheet and look just like it always has. My plan is to have last year's there. You can take a gander at it. And all I'm gonna ask is then it'll be like a formal approval, and then it's due on the 20th of August.
Okay. I'm good on the evening of the 18th.
And at whatever time you all say is good for you.
Yeah, first day of school.
All right, what time?
Later I had something earlier. Can we do it later?
Like what?
Like 8?
Yeah, can we do it at 8 o'clock or 7:30?
Yep, I'm good either one.
7:30.
7:30. Sounds good.
So you need a motion for that?
Yes, because it'll be advertised as like, just all we're going to do is press release type advertising. Don't have to be anything but a press release.
Trustee Pierre moves to have a special meeting on August 18th at 7:30
Trustee Griffith seconds.
PM. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great.
Retirement, cyber coverage for retirement
Yeah.
membership.
I just got that. That's another deadline project for September the 18th. It's 27 pages of a cyber attack coverage that they are mandating all the townships to have. That Wendy French, I don't know if any of you have met her, she's apologized for it when I got it this week, and then Sue and I were looking it over, and it's not that easy. There's a lot of things in it that I have to research it, but they got it on a grid that I can fill it out as I go and research, because it's stuff like password. Who controls the passwords? I hate to say it, it's me. Where do I keep all them? I keep them locked up here.
Right.
Where do I keep all that? Well, who's the backup? Who's the backup? Any of you guys would have the backup. Something happened to me. You know what I mean? It asks the in-depth questions.
Sure.
Where's all our off-site being backed up? Who does our virus scans? And there's 2 pages, the front and back, of yes and no things, and then there's who's in charge of each facet. Well, pretty much I was. And when it says that, they want someone else in charge.
They want to spread out those duties.
Yes, and I don't have any problem with that. It's just I still can keep track of it all, but if something, God forbid, happened to me, I don't want everything to be locked up and hosed up here.
Sure.
So it's not, I can tell you, Trustee, if something happened to me, I think you could run things without me here, but and get by, because the passwords we have right now, I think I have over 100 and some passwords for different things I have, and we're changing a lot of these things. You change it almost weekly and some monthly. Banking stuff changes all the time. It's just a continual thing.
Sure.
It's not like you set a password.
You
It's the
have
same
to
thing.
constantly update your document that is your password.
Yes. And I even I talked to Philip about doing software that can help you with that, but it's like, we're so used to having this stuff that between Sue and I, that we have it into folders, we have it documented where it is. If something happens, one or the other, we can get on everything we need to get on. So that's just, I know that there'll be a time the president has to sign on it. So my goal is to have that ready for the next meeting on the 23rd,
Okay.
because we won't have another meeting till after that deadline, or close to after that deadline, or right around that
So a lot of
deadline.
stuff that needs to be done before September. Wow.
I was hoping when I got done with all this audit stuff, I was gonna have a little break other than the budget, and it hasn't stopped. There's more stuff coming at me, so I don't have any problem with it. Just sometimes you run out of time.
Right.
And then you get something blindsided, like a 27-page report you have to have.
All right. Brenda, robberies.
So there's been in this southeast end, several different robberies. And people have been seeing, actually a female, a girl, they called it a girl, sitting in a vehicle in front of a house. Didn't think anything of it. And they said, police are saying there was people in the house that were robbing when they come out, and the girl drove them away. Again, today, someone said they saw a different vehicle driving around with a girl and two guys in it, and just real slow, like casing all the houses. So people just need to be aware our township's getting targeted right now.
Well, I talked to
As if things have been stolen.
some of the,
And these are daytime events.
Ken Aller's wife. I don't know if you know Aller's, but they're out by Belfort. And somebody stole a four-wheeler about 2 weeks ago. She goes, there was a car about 3 a.m. driving back and forth. And I don't know how but she said there was a girl in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it went back and forth, and then finally it stopped in front of the house. Before she knew what was going on, and then they stole some things there. It's probably the same group.
Yeah. So the ones that were the thefts that have occurred recently have been during the day, and but now people are starting to watch what they said. They see vehicle going excessively slow. It's like they're casing to see
Yeah.
who's home and watching a pattern, and then they see them again in a different vehicle. So they're looking to see when you're home, when you're not home. Is it regular? So,
They caught the person that stole McKinney's.
yeah.
I've got a good friend that lives on Georgetown on the he's in Louisville, but he's on the Osnaburg line. He had a dirt bike and a four-wheeler stolen out of their garage in the middle of the day. Yeah. Just probably a month and a half ago.
Just it's like these people just need to go to work.
Yeah, really.
But
Well, the
residents
person-
should be aware because there's a lot of that going on right now in
Yeah.
our communities.
The person that stole the truck that went to McKinney's and then stole McKinney's drove clear up there to Pew's, got it stuck in the creek or ditch or whatever,
Oh, jeez.
got out and tried to steal one of their trucks there, the stake bed truck. So I don't know if they did get it.
Eric's?
Huh?
Eric's? Pew's?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
didn't hear anything about it.
And then tried to start the big loader, but couldn't get it to move. But they said they caught him.
They did because the sheriff that was out on one of these other robberies said he was on that one too. And he's actually has a local connection here to our community. I don't want to say who he is, but so they're watching. So if anyone sees anything, they should just immediately call the sheriff.
Yeah. I think there's somebody said that this guy stole a lot of vehicles before he finally got caught here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's different than this girl that's driving people around.
Yeah, there's
So the one robbery
quite a
they
few
said,
strange cars just driving up and down the roads here.
Yeah.
Our area by the Apple Barrel is a hot spot. People sit up there. If I had a quarter for every time someone turned around in that little parking lot, I'd be rich.
Mhm.
So we're always paying attention to driver's license or license plate numbers and, hey, what you doing? Oh,
It's
just
one
sitting
thing when
here.
you see the
Yeah.
county sitting there or Aspen or,
Yeah.
you know, the trees or
Yeah, but
something like that,
people sit all
but
the time.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We'll keep an eye out for that. That's for sure.
yeah, and just don't hesitate to report something.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. Trustee Varian moves to adjourn.
All right, I move to pay bills first.
All right.
Then adjourn.
Sounds good.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Everything's still on, so be careful.
Look at something.
I still want that. I'll let him grab it. Yeah.
Write it down.
All right.